Hi, Jesse Grimes here. I'm sitting here in Wilfati 0.7 after my first day at Wheaton Laboratories for the Ant Village Challenge. And I can tell you I got a lot of work ahead of me. But first, let me tell you a bit about how I got here. Before leaving Southern California, I did one final check on my project in San Diego. Everything we planted is doing really well, and it seems to be enjoying these long days close to the solstice. There's lots of flowers blooming, and there's lots of new growth on all the plants. And there's even some fruit on the trees. We have pomegranates, avocados, and lots of lemons on the old tree. I'm really happy with how this project has turned out, and so is my friend Melissa. The final piece in the project is getting some creeping thyme seeds to germinate and fill in the gaps between the paving stones. While there is some thyme growing, there's also a lot of purslane, which actually is pretty perfect for this purpose. Then I drove back up to Orange County and went to my local jumps to check on the Permaculture Bike Park project. I planted some trees earlier this spring, and even though they lost their leaves after transplant, the leaves have grown back and they're looking very healthy. Even some of the seeds I planted are still alive. And some recent rains even brought out a flush of mushrooms. I got the chance to see a lot of my old friends, and some incredible riding too. This place will be one of the hardest to leave behind. Before I left, I took the chance to plant one more plant, a Cape honeysuckle bush, which hopefully will provide some shade. And finally, it was time to get ready to leave Orange County. I bought a pickup truck and built some bedsides, and then it was time for truck Tetris. I felt like I was bringing a lot of stuff, but I also couldn't help thinking that it'd all be very useful in trying to build a new homestead. I finally got it all packed in there, and it ended up looking a little bit like the Beverly Hillbillies. I said goodbye to my sister and her husband. They gave me a hatchet. Said goodbye to my mom and my dad. Tasted some fine local cuisine one last time, and said goodbye to the great Pacific Ocean. And it was finally time to leave for Montana. What followed was many long hours on the road, listening to Paul Wheaton podcasts, watching the beautiful scenery go by, and sleeping on the side of the road. In Salt Lake City, I picked up my partner Carol Ann, and we continued our drive up the great rocky spine of the continent. We stopped in Idaho Falls at a hotel for a much-needed shower, and then continued on through miles and miles of irrigated hayfields. Once we passed over the Great Divide, we finally came into the great state of Montana, where the sky did indeed seem much bigger. After many more hours, we finally pulled up to base camp at Wheaton Laboratories. We headed on up to the lab, and I had my look around at what will one day be the Ant Village. I picked a good spot and marked out an acre, my very own acre.